What's good, guys? I'm back. And that's my bad that I haven't uploaded in a while. I was on spring break, and I thought I could just take a little break. But I'm back. I'm going to be back on the grind, uploading daily. And I think I'm going to start making my videos a little bit longer. And I'm considering starting to also do more of a news type segment, as in, instead of just giving about one specific team, I could do sort of like an overall that day of what happened and anything that happened, like drama or anything like that. But anyways, if you guys want me to start doing that, please leave a comment down below. But yeah, we're back to talking about the Thunder and the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers won in 5 games. Damian LILLARD, I think it's about time we start putting him in the top 2, top 3 point guard category. This year, I think he's been the second best point guard in the league. Overall, I might still have to take Kyrie Irving only because of past experience. And yes, I'm going to say that Damian Lillard is not a choker, but he's had series where he's underperformed. And I'm not saying Kyrie hasn't had series that underperformed. I mean, it happens. Everyone has bad series, bad games, something like that. But I just think overall, Kyrie's been better in the playoffs, which therefore I would have to take Kyrie over Lillard. Honestly, it's kind of difficult to see. It's kind of your opinion. Steph Curry's obviously number 1. Kyrie and Lillard are 2 and 3. That's just kind of my thing. But I think it's about time we stop sleeping on Damian Lillard. He's no longer should be slept on. And this man is a dog. I mean, for God's sakes, he dropped 50 points in the closing game on pretty good efficiency as well. And yes, CJ McCollum did struggle the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, he started coming up clutch, and you have to give him props to that. And it's pretty good. Mo Harkless also dropped 17 points, contributed a little bit, so that's pretty nice. But to see this Portland Trailblazers do this is just really nice. Even though they struggled a lot last year, everyone was writing him off. Everyone was writing Lillard and CJ off, and now they did their thing. And what's interesting is what's going to happen next, because they could easily make the Western Conference Finals. They play either the Nuggets or the Spurs. If they play the Spurs, they're a beatable team. The Spurs are one of, I think, last, if not one of the last offenses in, I should say, 3-point shots. They don't attempt many threes, and these guys are a beatable team. The Denver Nuggets, I think they're going to win the series, but the inexperience that the Denver Nuggets show, it's just hard to not root for them, but it's kind of hard to pick them as to win the series because you don't know what to expect from them. I mean, you never know. Jamal Murray either will explode, Gary Harris will either explode, or they'll just have an off shooting night, and it'll be kind of difficult to see. But I think a Nuggets versus Portland Trailblazers series will be a very underrated series, and I kind of see the Portland Trailblazers making it to the Western Conference Finals. And if they do, I think that will be at least a successful season. And I kind of hope they do, honestly, because seeing how they lost Nurkic and even Cantor, he got hurt yesterday too, played through it and was able to contribute. I think it's very nice to see that this team, even through adversity, they were able to get through it and just they beat down the Oklahoma City. I mean, OKC literally blew like a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. It was a really good game. If you watched it face to face or even on the TV, it was a really good game, and I think this series was also very underrated. But something we need to talk about, and I think you guys all know, Russell Westbrook. I mean, my goodness. I mean, I'm not a Westbrook hater. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I've been on the air saying that some of the criticism he gets is a little too much. But dude, that was horrible. 11 for 31 on 29 points. Paul George did his thing. 36 points, 14 of 20 from the field. And you decide to choke away the game. And instead of giving it to Paul George in the final possession, before Damian Lillard hit the shot, Russell Westbrook decided to take a stupid layup, which gave Lillard the opportunity to make that deep bomb. And it's just kind of sad to see because Paul George was doing his thing. If he had gave Paul George a shot, I'm not saying he would have made it, but it would have been a better shot than what Westbrook was doing. And obviously, that's just one of Westbrook's knocks. Late game decision making, his IQ just isn't there. It's not a great thing. And this is the 3rd straight year Westbrook has gotten knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. And we got to really look at this man and think, is he really a top-tier point guard like that? Because the talent's there, but he just can't seem to get it done. And the way I look at it, Whenever I discuss the people in my point guards in my ranking, I truly do not believe that Westbrook is a top 5 point guard. At least this year especially, but I do think there are legitimate conversations on where he should be placed in top 15, top 20, top 25. I think it's finally about time where we recognize and see that Russell Westbrook can't be the number one option on a championship team. And I know those Russell Westbrook fans are out there, and they're going to give him all the excuses, but there's just no excuses for this. I truly do not believe that he's a top 5 point guard. And people who I would take, Curry, Lillard, Kyrie, are 3 given. And then I think there's legitimate discussion on who else you could take. You got CP3, John Wall. Now, yes, John Wall has not been healthy. I would probably not take John Wall as of now because of the past few years, because the year he did play, he was hurt and didn't exactly do well. But you could give a legitimate discussion for him. Ben Simmons. And as of now, D'Angelo Russell. Oh, and James Harden. I can't forget about him. Depends how you view James Harden as a point guard, or if you consider him a shooting guard. But technically, he was a point guard for most of the time. But it doesn't matter. There's other point guards out there that you can legitimately take over Russell Westbrook. And there's just so many times where he's just choked in the playoffs and he just underperforms. It's not like he played horrible. No, actually, what am I saying? He played terrible. I mean, it was flat out just horrible. And I don't want to hear about, oh, he got all these triple doubles, all this, all that. I could care less about the triple doubles. It's the fact that when it's time for you to get it done, he just simply can't get it done. And it's the lack of shooting, which is really a huge part of the reason. Now, it would be a lot different if he couldn't shoot and he wasn't taking a lot of threes and he was playing to his strengths. But no, he decides to jack up a ton of threes, 6, 7 a game, and makes them out 1 or 2 of them. You just can't do that, bro. Like, at some point, you got to recognize, like, dude, I can't shoot threes. Let me go to my strength. Let me take it to the hole strong. Get to the free throw line more. Because this year, he didn't get to the free throw line as much. And then on top of that, he was shooting around 60 to 66, the high 60 percentile in threes. That's not good for a guy who's a inside scorer, and that's his strength. And I don't know, man. It's hard to think Russell Westbrook is a number 1 option on a team. And I'm just going to flat out say it. There's legitimate discussion who players at CJ McCollum's caliber, where number 2 options such as CJ McCollum, you could say even Chris Middleton, where you would rather have him than Russell Westbrook on your team. I'm not saying they're better than them. I think there's discussions that CJ McCollum could be better than him, and as insane that is, because yeah, Russell Westbrook averages triple doubles. I don't care that Russell Westbrook averages a triple double. At the end of the day, it's about winning, and you got to consider CJ McCollum is willing to be that number 2 option, and when you look at it, Russell Westbrook isn't willing to be that number 2 option. He's not willing to defer to Paul George in the playoffs. I know he was able to do it during the regular season, at least a little bit. In the playoffs, he did not show that. Paul George had a couple bad games, but overall, I thought he had a pretty good series. Final game of the series, he did it great. Russell Westbrook just can't be that number 1 star, and quite frankly, I don't think he can even be that number 2 star, because he's just not willing to defer to his teammates. He's not willing to give up the ball, and he's so ball dominant, and he just can't shoot that it hurts his team. I mean, other players such as Jeremy Grant showed out. He dropped, 17 to 19 points? I have to go check on that. But he only missed 1 shot. He shot 7 of 8. And he showed up. Steven Adams, he didn't exactly show up for the final game. Honestly, Enes Kanter was actually horsing him a lot. He was out rebounding him a significant amount. So I'm not going to have Steven Adams get off the hook. But he's not a bad player. And Steven Adams does his role right. It's Russell Westbrook that doesn't do his role right. And I don't know where the Thunder can go as an organization with Westbrook. He's being set to make, 36 to 40 million. That takes up so much cap space. And on top of that, you still got to sign a bunch of other players. And it's just very difficult because them being a small market team, I'm pretty sure they don't even have the cap room to sign another big-time free agent. They're going to have to make some trades. And it's going to be very difficult because for all you can say that, oh yeah, you should trade Russell Westbrook, it's just not going to happen. OKC is not going to trade Westbrook. You just can't do that. And honestly, they're going to be stuck as a first round, maybe second round exit team for a while up until Westbrook's contract is up. And I don't know if they can really be content with this. And if they are, then so be it. You're going to have to live with it. But it's just kind of hard to just watch this team night in and night out. They have the talent, but Westbrook just so happens to just choke. And I'm sorry that I sound like a hater, but I'm just stating facts. You cannot win a championship with Westbrook as your number one or number two option, anything like that. That's just facts. Paul George showed out. He didn't get it done. The Portland Trailblazers, I hope they get it done. I really hope they make it to the Western Conference Finals and prove everyone wrong, because this is a team that a lot of people had OKC not as the favorites, but they could have predicted that OKC would win this series. And it'll be very interesting to see throughout the rest of the playoffs, because I'm not saying they're going to beat the Warriors, and yes, even though the Clippers made it a good game, made it a good series, I do think the Warriors will win. I will make a video on the Clippers and how they are making it a series, because watching these Clippers play, I mean, my God, that is amazing. They just do not give up, and I think it's really nice to watch. But I do think the Warriors will end up winning. But if the Warriors keep playing like they are, I think there's going to be not that a legitimate discussion on can the Trailblazers beat the Warriors. But if Damian Lillard shows up, if CJ McCollum shows up, I think you can give them a few games. And if they make it Game 7, I mean, you never know. But it'll just be interesting to see how the rest of these playoffs go. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss anything. And if you guys like this kind of content, please let me know. I'm going to obviously be dropping tomorrow the Clippers and Warriors series, how I think of it. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.